So what would you say has been the hardest thing in terms of getting going as a funeral celebrant? And then secondly, what do you think has been your absolute highlight?
The hardest thing, you have to deal with a lot of rejection,
Hmm.
and that for most people is quite hard. For an actor,
I was going to say, for an actor, you're quite used to that, aren't
for
you?
an
Quite
actor,
resilient.
yeah, the having spent years hammering on the doors of casting directors who won't return a call, who won't return an email. And even if you do manage to get an audition for them, you never hear. They're really very, very hard to get. Very, very aloof, very, very elusive people. Compared to them, funeral directors are an absolute dream. Even so,
Fantastic.
even so, no, some of them it's like even so, some of them it's like there's one particular, very high end, big reputation, family funeral director has been around for 200 years plus in southeast London, and I've sent them my stuff. I've written them emails. I've been into their office twice, at least twice, maybe three times. And there's a dragon of a woman on reception, and it's basically she looks at me and smiles thinly and narrows her eyes and says, basically, "Don't call us, we'll call you." And roughly translated, we get out of my office, you
Go
upstart.
away.
What do you think we're going to give you anyway? And you do need to have a little bit of grit. You need to have a little bit of salesman's grit. You have to understand that, her no is just a little way station on the way to her saying yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
guy who originally said to me, I'd never give you a funeral unless I'd seen you were before. Sometime later, he then called me up offering me a funeral. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to do it because I had another booking of a funeral on that day.
Yeah. Oh,
Happy situation, but it is lovely when you do get the call from the people who've been saying no. But it's hard because some people they just don't like your face. Something they just they
there's nothing you can do about that,
there's
is
nothing
there?
you can do about it. My local one, it was tragic. My local funeral director, literally like 2 minutes walk down the road. The first before I trained, went in and spoke to her, and they said, we need a certificate. And I said, well, I'm about to start a training, so I got one. And she was really helpful and lovely and saying, I need this. And before I introduce, I need to see what you look like speaking. So on your website, if you can get a video of you doing something like that as well. And I had originally planned to just fake it because I went to visit, you said visit the mortuaries and the crematorium.
Yeah.
I visited my local crematorium and they were wonderful. The guy there mentored me. I've seen several cremations happen. I know the procedure from start to finish. He's helped introduce me to people, and it was all going very well. And then this particular person left, went somewhere. I don't know where she went. After I think when I came back from India, she wasn't there. And the other person, I just walk in and that they do this food bank collection, and I've been in there week after week, not every week, and I'm just dropping food off, making them understand I'm a good person, saying, can we, and like, she just doesn't like me. She just doesn't like my face. She just doesn't like, there's something about me that she doesn't like. I don't know what it is. And that's just this. Some people have their own little group of celebrants, and they're just a little bit, those are the people they like. And what became very clear is that people have their little list. People have their list of preferred celebrants. And I realized very quickly you can't be everything to everyone. And
Yeah.
so rather than trying to cover this 30, I said, right, there's the ones, the Co-op, Dignity, Francis Chapel, Funeral Partners, there's Gilman's, there was another one that have a sort of lot of offices. So I focused on a smaller group of people and building relationships. And I'd
Yeah.
visit them,
Yeah.
and then I'd write to them, and then I'd email them, and I'd visit them. If they weren't there, I'd write them a letter. I used letters because you
Yeah.
can't just delete a letter. You have to
Yeah.
read it.
Yeah.
And I realized I need to be on the list of preferred celebrants if I'm going to succeed in this. So I focused on specific people and stayed on them for a while. And now I am on a few preferred lists.
Yeah.
And so tonight I'm talking. I'm not talking. What's the word? Tonight I'm doing two readings, a poem and a reading from the Bible at the Dignity memorial service that they give for all of the people who have died in the sort of the year beforehand who haven't had the memorial service. And there
Okay.
you can have
Yeah.
all the people from their offices are there.
Yeah.
And I've done quite a number of funerals for them. And the funeral partners people, they called me up saying, "Oh, you come to the office? They've given me a half a dozen or more. We've got a little gift. We've got a gift for you in the office. Come and get it."
Oh,
I'm on their little list.
yeah,
And 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 in November, I did 8 funerals, which that's an income. That's success. And
yeah,
because the previous month I did 5. The previous month I think I also did 5, and there was so. But I've also developed my process so as I can achieve my objectives more efficiently when it comes to helping the families and that sort of thing.
yeah.
Um, so I was comfortable with that number, and organizationally it's challenging as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
So just to summarize then, so it sounds
yeah,
like then that when you started visiting you funeral directors, it reminded you a lot of making those casting calls, trying to sort of knock on doors, getting rejected a few times, but
yeah,
keeping on going.
yeah,
And that realization that actually, what, for some people your face just doesn't fit,
yeah,
but it's about trying to find those people that do like you, that do connect with what you're able to offer.
yeah,
um and of course you can't be all things for all people, and so consequently it's about being your genuine authentic self, isn't it, really? And
yeah,
some people will like that and some people won't. But it sounds like you've come to the position now that actually you've got those really good connections and relationships with a small number of funeral directors,
yeah,
some of whom are very, very big, and some of them are smaller. But basically, you're in a position now where you're happy with the connections that you've got, and so it's about maintaining those networks.